Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. This is episode 311. We're recording on 9/12. You're watching it on September 13th or later. I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magicman, your host. And we've got some big news of the week. Well, it's not huge news, but we got a couple neat little stories to talk through. Lootboxes and Path of Exile come under fire, and they all come under fire in the UK. And we're going to take a look at a first look, and a first look that wasn't. Joining me to go through all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I kind of think a lot of them should be first looks that weren't or wasn't.
So that article I just sent you to post as news and then assigned as game pages, that's definitely going to be a Jason Winter check it out to see if we're going to do a first look.
I have to.
As soon as I saw MOBA, I was like, this is Jason's.
Oh, come on.
This is Jason's. So, hey, here, hold on. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's introduce Q. Ms. Quinlan Bowers, what's up, Q?
At least I don't have anything to do with the first look stuff, so.
Don't tempt us.
Yeah, so they sent this press release for, what the hell was it called? Demons something. Demons Are Crazy, now available on Steam. And it has mixed reviews, and if you go through, apparently there was like, and they said this in the presser, that they had some growing pains and stuff like that in their closed beta, which was limited to 2,000 people, and people were upset that they couldn't get in, so they opened it up to 20,000 people, and that still wasn't enough. And I'm like, really? Let's go check those numbers. And I went to Steam charts, and I was like, hey, their max for the last 14 months was 338. So I thought, okay, is there a downloadable client somewhere where these the other 19,500 people were playing on? I wasn't able to find one. That's not to say that one didn't exist in testing, but the numbers seemed a little dubious. So Jason will be covering that as news. You guys can take a look at it, and Jason, jump in and do it up for a first
I don't know
look.
if I'll be able to find a match. There's only like 9 people online right now.
I know. But they're
how many are in a match?
They're saying,
is it the usual?
I don't know. I didn't read all of the details about it. We had just gotten it before the show came, and I threw it in the group chat to get the game pages started. Let's see if it says what PvP rank. 2,000 wasn't enough. 20,000 wasn't enough.
Bullshit.
Well, that jump too, right? 2 to 20, like nothing in between.
Yeah. It doesn't say in the press release, at least through us a brief scanning of it. But Jason will be checking it out, so stay tuned for that amazing first look video. I'm sure it'll be amazing. On that note, let's get started with the news. Jason doesn't want to even cover it as news. Unfortunately, that's our job, so I think we have to, and get some game pages. All right, so what happened this week? Well, let's talk Battle Royale first, and get those out of the way. First off, don't ever, 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 for you game designers, name a place Moisty Palms.
First of all, is moisty a word?
I guess you can make anything a word when you're referring to a location, right?
When you make as much money as Fortnite does, you can make anything into a word.
Right.
Well,
You just pay the dictionary guys. Like, we're going to give you $500,000. Make this a word.
Right.
Like, sure.
Honestly, when I saw the title of the article, I was like, oh, he's making some sort of weird joke here that I don't get yet.
Nope. That was the name. So Fortnite has been updated with the newest Rift Zone, Moisty Palms. It's humid and there's palm trees, according to Jason. And you can crouch to disguise yourself as a prop and launch a sneak attack on unsuspecting passers-by. Also, Greasy Grove has returned to the game. So, there you go. That's really it. I didn't want to talk too much about this because, you know, if you play Fortnite, you already know. But Jason, Moisty Palms has to be the worst idea I have ever heard as far as location. I mean, I don't have like that aversion that some people do to the word moist. It really doesn't bother me.
It's a gross word.
Oh, apparently, Q, you have that little. But yeah, even I was like, Moisty Palms. That's disgusting.
Now, in Lord of the Rings Online, which I think it gets its name from the actual books, it's sort of like the back entrance to the Goblin Town from The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
and it was called the Black Crack. So
that is.
it was the butt of many jokes.
Yeah.
Ah!
Q, you're not down with moisty palms?
No,
They're
but the
gloves on,
Black
obviously
Crack
not.
is. These are like carpal tunnel arthritis gloves. Not they have nothing to do with that.
They keep your palms from getting moisty.
Actually, they don't.
Actually, wouldn't they make your palms moisty? Q, do you have moisty palms at this exact moment? It's gonna be one of those shows, gang. Moving on, Apex Legends, the free-to-play game, has decided we'd like to make some more money, and so, Jason, they're offering some physical editions, huh?
Mm-hmm. 2 box sets you'll be able to buy in stores starting in October 18th. Each one coming with, let's see, 4 cosmetics for each character. There's one for Bloodhound, one for Lifeline, as well as 1,000 Apex coins. The box, it's a box, nice little box you would like put on a shelf somewhere. And
With my WildStar boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're gonna buy 11 of these?
No,
Okay.
I'm not even gonna buy one of these. I'm not even gonna buy one of these.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, they're $20. We'll get them on October 18th. They didn't mention like what stores they're gonna be in, but you'll probably find them in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, all the usual spots.
Q,
Is there going to be one for every character eventually?
Oh,
Maybe
God,
eventually,
at
but
$20 a pop.
Well, EA.
well, you gotta make, they're always going to be more skins.
Always more skins. And Jason at first was like, what the hell, Q? But then I did have to remind everybody, Fortnite did do this. They put physical boxes for Battle Royale in GameStop stores and everything. A couple different versions. But even like the original one, though, that's going for over $100 in a lot of cases on eBay because of how rare that original box was. Q, you have like 5 of them, right? Because you're huge into Fortnite.
Oh yeah, really huge into Fortnite. Mm-hmm.
So how does this make you feel, Q? Like, are you okay with a free-to-play game doing this type of thing? Like, here's a $20 box. Put it in the store, Jason. You said it's got some coins in it, so 1,000 Apex coins and some skins and a banner and a badge. So doesn't sound like anything you really just couldn't put in your cash shop on the game itself, but this does give you the benefit of not just advertising and trying to sell to the people that are actively playing your game and viewing your cash shop, but putting it on the shelf there at GameStop or at Walmart or whatever and getting it in front of maybe fresh eyes. Do you have any type of problem with this type of marketing, Q?
I mean, not really. It's that are there even discs in it though? Like, or is it just you get a box that has like a code?
No, I'm
for
pretty
this
sure.
shit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a box. And like, what do you put on that box? What's the ESRB rating? You do not actually have to buy this box.
Right. This box is totally not necessary to actually play the game.
Right.
I mean, it comes down to if people want to spend their money on it, whatever. You know, there's plenty of really stupid stuff that I spend money on, so I can't. You know, if they want to do it, just have the cool box to sit on their shelves and the skin, that's up to them.
It is kind of weird though that I think like I haven't seen too many boxes. You mentioned the Fortnite thing, but I haven't seen too many boxes for free-to-play games. Now I've seen like you get like a World of Tanks card or something. You can buy like a little gift card or whatever, but actual like box that looks like a game. That's something that I don't see very often.
Well, and I mean, the ones that I'm about to talk about, they don't really count, right? I mean, Lord of the Rings had boxes, but that's because it was a retail purchase. You know, Rift did the same thing. WildStar did the same thing.
Ion.
Ion they all did the same thing. They were originally a box cash purchase. So, yeah, to that point, Jason, I'm kind of with you. You see the cards everywhere. So, how does this break down cost-wise? $10 would get you the 1,000 gems, so that's half of the box right there. Mm-hmm. Do any of you happen to know the like average cost of a legendary skin in Apex Legends or a banner or a badge? I don't.
I mean, if it's like other games, I mean, obviously you have to get it out of a loot box. You have to buy a certain number of loot boxes to get blah blah blah. So it's probably at least in the $5 to $10 range if you were like to try to get them individually.
So I think it's safe to say you're probably getting a little bit of a price break on buying these types of things individually. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it. Obviously I would like to see the box advertise the fact that you do not need this to play, and I'm sure it probably does. We haven't seen them yet. I don't own the Fortnite box myself, otherwise I'd go look to see if that was, disclaimed on there. But if you're an Apex Legends fan, and in particular a fan of those two heroes, you've got that option coming soon. Q, your friends at Smite, I don't know what they did and who's... Well, I probably shouldn't phrase it that way. There was some ass kissing, let's say, over at Sony, because Smite and Paladins and Realm Royale are now all cross-play with the Sony PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and they're working on the cross progression and the cross commerce. So eventually you'll be able to, pull everything together from whichever system. But yes, there is actually crossplay with Sony, and it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna guess it maybe wasn't actually Hi-Rez that did it though.
No,
I'm gonna guess it was maybe Tencent.
Yeah, no. I'm being facetious here on the Hi-Rez thing, but this was absolutely pressure boiling over on Sony after last year's into this year's discussion about how, hey guys, I know you think it's us, but it's not us, says Microsoft, and it turns out being Sony is the big problem there. The pressure on this one's been mounting for a long time, Q.
Well, and it's not the only thing, because Sony's kind of caved on some other things, like Death Stranding coming to PC, like almost immediately and stuff like that. So Sony's just, I guess they're finally deciding they need to play nice.
I mean, it's good for us, Jason. We talked about this on a show. As gamers, this should have been the de facto standard, and at one point was... early in the Xbox 360 days. I mean, I remember playing my Final Fantasy XI account on PC, on Xbox 360, on PlayStation 2, same account, same servers, and all that stuff. So it de facto was the standard back then changed to not being. I'm glad that it seems like we're finally moving back into that direction. I think the big one that we're going to watch, at least I'm going to watch, Jason, and you can agree or disagree, is what happens with Destiny. Destiny 2, particularly when it goes free to play and the new expansion comes out in about a month here, because that they have enabled cross-save, so that's great. At least, my one account I can now play on Xbox, on PlayStation, or on PC, and I did set that up. I gave a dub-bomb to how easy it was to set that up and to set up my Steam migration when they're ready from Battle.net. What I'm really interested, though, is when does cross-play become a thing, because that's very different from cross-save, and I think that's a pretty big game that should have cross-play, Jason.
Is it really, though? I mean, is it? Again, I don't play Destiny. I don't play the Destiny games and so forth, but it seems like it's kind of like, a little lower down. Certainly not on the par with a game like a Fortnite or something like that. So I don't know if that's necessarily like the big question facing games today. Will that be cross-play? It's a good question as to whether it will be, but I don't know that it's like the breaking point of once this is crossplay, everything will be or something like that. So,
right, but to your point, Fortnite is crossplay.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
like
that's why I'm interested in coming down the road Destiny, because the bigger ones now we're starting to see, like Q said, the cave, the dominoes falling. And Fortnite getting crossplay, and now some of the bigger Hi-Rez titles getting crossplay, and this title getting crossplay. And I'm very interested to see if Destiny goes that way.
It's more like if these second-tier games get it, then that will open the floodgates for everything. Is what you're saying.
Right, then it becomes the standard. It just is from there on out, I think. So
I could see that.
That's the one I'll be watching. Jason, this last piece of bigger news this week, I only put in here for you. So, ew. You now have moisty palms.
My Twitter was a mess after this, and it's a mess in general anyway.
Oh, God, Jason. Go ahead. Tell them what game they should be downloading next.
Well, not next. It's not coming out for another week, I believe. It's I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator.
You're totally doing a first look on this, aren't you?
The thing is, I kind of want to stream it first instead, so I don't know. It's going to be tough. We'll see how that goes. But
well, stream it and record the footage, but don't record your audio. and then you can just talk over it for the first look to add
I
the
can
more
mute the
like
audio after or something.
yeah.
Too. Okay.
Don't mute the
Yeah.
game sounds, but whatever. Go ahead.
Anyway, but yeah, it's a dating simulator where you'll date a young Colonel Sanders. You'll try to date a young Colonel Sanders, of course, and damn, he's sexy.
Oh my god.
Get the picture.
And we also agreed on Twitter that he's a bottom. So.
Oh jeez.
But it is an official game. This is not some fan-made thing. This is officially by KFC, developed by PsyOp, who did what did they do? They did Kismet and Camp W.
So 2 other things you probably didn't hear of.
I've heard of Kismet. That's about it. But yeah. Oh, you got to watch the video though. Oh, I didn't put the video in there. Oh, I'm terrible.
Awful, Jason.
But yeah, it's very much got that kind of anime dating sim game kind of look to it.
Here's the thing, Q. Like Jason was screwing around in chat about it and everything, and he wanted to cover it, and I almost said no, don't cover it. But then he wanted to do an article. I was like, okay, fine, do an article, whatever. And then I'm thinking like, should we do that? Maybe like a small jokey video with that or something. But I didn't say, hey Jason, go do a first look on that since you're going to be playing it anyway. Because I fully expected this to be a joke and have it ripped down by KFC really quickly. And then find out an hour later, totally legit, sponsored by KFC.
I mean, KFC has gotten weird over the years. Their commercials and everything else, like KFC is a weird place.
Don't we kind of have Wendy's to blame for that? For like, the whole fast food companies being goofy on social media and whatnot?
Well, but
they started
with KFC, it wasn't being goofy on social media. It was their commercials got terrifying for a while, like because of the different kernels they brought in. And
I mean, one of them was Reba McEntire, remember?
Oh my God, no, I forgot about that.
One of the colonels was Reba McEntire in full colonel outfit with the mustache and everything. Speaking of fast food icons that just scare the shit out of me, I still have nightmares about that damn Burger King. That thing is creepy as hell. As hell.
Now I do remember when Burger King.
Remember those video games?
Yeah, and that like Xbox disc that had like 4 games on it. Yeah.
They were 4 individual games. I have them all. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait.
Sneak
So the
King.
Burger King terrifies you, but you have the games.
Oh, I had to. I mean, those were such amazing marketing.
Was there like a kart racing game for one of them?
Yeah, there was a kart racing game. My favorite was Sneak King, which was horrendous, by the way. You were the king, and you had to sneak up on people and like present them with a Whopper. So, like, some people would be just chilling out by their car, and you'd be the king, like sneaking up behind them like this. And then you'd hit a button for like this flashy thing. Like they would turn around, they'd be like, oh, and the king you'd hit the button and it would go into this cutscene like animation. They'd be like,
so the king doubled as a hamburger,
giving you a Whopper, presenting it to you. It was
except he gave burgers instead of taking them. Is that opposite of hamburger?
He was the Robin Hood of burgers.
He was. He was like he'd pull it out of his robe. It was frightening. Anyway, I will give this to KFCQ, and we've had this conversation before, and Jason, you can just ignore it. Those chicken bowls.
Yes.
Those chicken bowls.
You and your gravy.
Although being Southern, I'm still more Popeyes, so.
Gotcha. All right, moving on to more important stuff than my
nothing's more important
than my latent fear of the Burger King. Let's talk about loot boxes and Path of Exile. I know, right? We're about to talk about Path of Exile and a misstep, a pretty serious misstep that they made in their financial model. A game that we praise, Jason, quite often as one of those up there with Warframe and everything else for have the way free to play is supposed to be done, should be done, clearly can be done. Look at this. They made a serious gaffe that pissed a lot of people off, and it got yanked real quick.
Admittedly, they got kind of a pass because they put they're very strictly about the cosmetics, which are still something that other games that have gotten a little bit of issues for, a little bit of flack. But because it's all about, collecting gear and getting better stats, people kind of give a pass to the cosmetics. But anyway, so of course, like I said, you get all the sorts of cosmetics in the loot boxes that they bring out with every expansion. but they have no duplicate protection. So you can get like the same thing over and over, especially if you're buying a lot of these, because commons are more common than the uncommons and rares. You probably wind up with a lot of the common stuff, which you don't really need. So their idea was they're going to introduce a thing called a salvage box, which is the same as a regular loot box, costs $30 points, which is $3. And before you open it, you can like feed your old microtransactions into it. So you get all your commons, you stuff them in there.
Oh,
For
that's
every one of
cool.
those-
So it like
Yeah.
ups my rarity and stuff, right?
Yeah. For all the ones you put in, it gives you a
Right.
better chance
And-
of getting more rares.
All right, and I would assume in this type of feature, the things I put in, I'm not gonna then draw. I mean, that would just be dumb.
Well, you might. It's still a random loot box.
No.
You might put in, $20 or $30 worth of your old loot, and get something else worth like $3. Even if you don't, even if you get something that's pretty good, the fact that you had to spend 10 loot boxes with the commons that you got a long time ago to get one decent box is sort of
Yeah.
eh.
Players were not happy. They were not happy. Rightfully so. I wouldn't have been either. And they took to every forum they possibly could to
Basically Reddit.
express their displeasure. Q, and as a result, Grinding Gear Games has canceled all of its plans for the salvage box. And in their direct quote, the player feedback was, quote, intensely negative.
They're honest.
Yep, they did take the box out of their sales options, but if you purchased any for some reason, you can still go ahead and use them. But I think this does bring up a decent question, particularly when it comes to Path of Exile here. Q, I don't like non-duplicate protection, and Path of Exile, there is a lot of duplication in these purchases. I like games that have some type of system for accumulating those and doing something else with them. Easy example right off the top of my head, Jason, would be like something like Hearthstone, right? Or any of the TCGs or CCGs typically have a disenchant and go make a specific card type deal.
Right.
And I like seeing that type of system for emotes and colors and dyes and cosmetics and things like that. I think that's got to be put into Path of Exile at some point, right, Q?
I mean, so I haven't. I did play a good bit of Path of Exile, farther back, but I never really bought anything. I just, played and got the loot and stuff I got there. And obviously, there's already a system built in for the stuff that you collect. You turn it into other stuff in general. So I think it would just be kind of like almost a no-brainer for them to be able to do it for the stuff that you're paying money for. I do know that is what you were saying about, like, if somebody actually bought the thing. I know that the streamers probably did buy the salvage box just to sit there and open it and, do their thing that they normally do, because that's literally half the reason you watch the streams for Path of Exile is to watch people open shit. That's it.
Every MMO with loot boxes, I think, is like that.
Well, I think that this attempt with the salvage box, Jason, shows that Grinding Gear Games does want to do something with it. Otherwise, this wouldn't even have been an option on the table. The question is, are they willing to do it without it having a second purchase to be able to do, which I think just feels sketchy.
That's gonna be the real issue, because
Yeah.
I mean, in all the times I've talked with Chris Wilson, he said, like I said, he's pretty honest about it, and he's like, we need to make money. So I can see that it's gonna be tough for them to find a way to do this that doesn't also generate money in some way. Like they don't want to just, I think they don't want to just give you, microtransaction stuff for free, basically. So I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do that is.
We'll see. But for now, the gamers win round 1. We'll see what happens in round 2. Speaking of loot boxes, things are about to get, or not about, but in the future here, and I don't think it's that far away now, loot boxes are gonna have some challenging times in the UK, as the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee has officially recommended to the government that it regulate loot boxes under its Gambling Act laws. They're taking a look at them as not only being immersive and addictive, but they are also looking at them from a, let me find the exact quote here. According to the committee, if the government determines not to regulate loot boxes under the act at this time, the government should produce a paper clearly stating the reasons why it does not consider loot boxes paid for with real-world currency to be a game of chance played for money's worth. Kind of stabbing a stake, Jason, right through the heart of that. Well, if you're not winning cash or something you can sell, it's not gambling. This committee turned around and said, you better detail exactly why you believe that, because these are a game of chance and need to be regulated as such.
Guilty until proven innocent is what they're basically saying.
Right.
If you think they're innocent, you tell us why.
Right. And that was kind of their whole MO. They said, we don't know if it's harmful and encourages kids to take on addictive behaviors and things like that. But until we do know that, we should be better safe than sorry type mentality, and control this now.
And obviously, and they're telling they're telling the government to do this, but of course we've had the previous talks with the sessions with the game developers who've used surprise mechanics and used the Kinder Egg defense and so forth to explain why they're not addictive or whatever.
Yeah, the committee was less than impressed with the performances.
Yeah. One of the things they said was that the game companies should be doing more to prevent in-game items from being traded for real-world money or being used in unlicensed gambling, and that companies shouldn't. Their lack of transparency they called unacceptable in terms of how they collect data and how they use that data to sell more loot boxes. So yeah, they're not real happy with how companies have done this and are definitely wanting the government to come down hard on them.
Q, they also said that their recommendation is that the government order publishers to take loot boxes out of games aimed at children. We'll talk more about that in a second, because they weren't really specific on that one. And tell PEGI, which is Europe's version of our ESRB, to slap games with loot boxes with an appropriate age rating. And they specifically pointed out that right now the labels that are on there, that in-game purchases on the ESRB labels, they specifically pointed out that PEGI's equivalent of those labels are generic and ineffective because they don't segregate any type of difference between the purchase of a skin and the purchase of a loot box as being two different. It's just a microtransaction is a microtransaction. Where do you think this goes? Because, I mean, you could argue that FIFA is aimed at kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Probably rated E.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, too, is so many people... I mean, I don't know if they know, but so many people don't even know which games are technically aimed at kids and which games aren't. So.
Right, and so that's kind of my question. Does it then hinge on whatever the ESRB rating or the PEGI rating is, in which case things like Madden and FIFA and NBA 2K, which I erroneously attributed. I kept trying to call it 2K on the episode. My brain kept stopping me 2 weeks ago because my brain was like, no, it's an EA game. It's not the 2K game. When we were talking about the bad commercial, it is 2K, and it was an awful commercial. But all of those games are rated E. Oh yeah, Steam. It is. All those games are rated E. So is that the definition of this is marketed to kids? Q? I don't know.
I mean, well, you have that, but then you just. Right. So you have that problem of there are games that are rated E for everybody, and they may not necessarily be marketed towards kids, especially when you consider the average age of gamers and people buying games. But then you turn around and you have, like, say, for instance, my friend's kid who's 12 has all the Saints Row games. So, like.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He has the Saints Row games. But. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how you fix that, because a lot of people just think that, well, it's a game. So obviously it's marketed towards kids.
All games are for kids.
Yeah. I think you have to go with whatever the ESRB or PEGI rating would be in those cases, but
yeah,
I don't know what else.
Holy hell, what's Blizzard do? What's the rating on Overwatch? I can't see it on my shelf because I have my light on in front of me.
It's T.
It's T?
Which technically minors, so that's
right,
kids.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's out.
Like I said, almost everything by EA.
Needless to say, the video game industry representatives, CEO of UK Interactive Entertainment, Dr. Joe Twist, which is just a fantastic name, they were less than thrilled with these findings. So was EA, right? Kerry Hopkins, Vice President for Legal and Government Affairs at Electronic Arts, said, "We do think the way we've implemented these kinds of mechanics is quite ethical and quite fun. They aren't gambling, and we disagree that there's evidence that shows they lead to gambling." Dr. Joe Twist, who I referenced earlier, said, "Video games industry is always and will continue to put the welfare of players at the heart of what we do." Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, sure
there
you
is
will.
no way to sugarcoat that. No, you haven't. You don't even put your employees and their
I was about
welfare
to say that.
at the heart of what you do, let alone your consumer. Get the hell out of here, Q. I know that's one you want to chime in on.
No, I was about to say the exact same thing you did. So I think you covered it just totally fine.
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no sugarcoating it. So it's going to be an ongoing discussion, Jason, but I think I think the UK government has a really hard time not doing something at this point. With this type of report and recommendation, I think it's really hard to come out and say, it's not gambling, we're not going to touch it now at this point.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, too, that one of the commenters on the Eurogamer article we've read this from says he's worked with Parliament. So he says what this basically means is the committee that did this is not a government. It's not the government. It's not a law being made or anything. It says it's not a change in government policy, just a recommendation by a third party, albeit an influential one. So, yeah, this is, like you said, this is about as close as you can get to actual laws being discussed and passed. So that's probably the next step if it comes to that.
And they do have reps in Parliament that want to take this up.
Is the Parliament busy right now?
Actually, I think they're
Parliament
not busy.
I
think they're not
busy.
I think they're not busy.
They're busy not being busy.
Right, they're by force not being busy right now. Whatever. Like we have any room to talk. Our White House is a fucking mess too. Whether you agree with policies or disagree with policies, that's not what I'm talking about. It's just chaotic. Let's finish this off with the first look review that was and the first look that wasn't. Let's start with the one that was. I did a first look for Eternal Magic, free-to-play MMORPG by 101XP Games, and I gotta say, I had fun. And I know that sounds weird because it didn't do anything special. It's a tab target MMO. You know, pretty basic character creation, just like 8 template faces, 8 hairstyles. You know, there wasn't much going on there. Some cool abilities. It played smooth. I got from level 1 to I think almost level 50 before the first look in like a day and a half, 2 days. And by that I mean I played for like 2 hours each day. It wasn't like I sat down and was like, I got to get to high level for the first look. So I don't know if the experience rates were like jacked through the roof for the beta or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see. It didn't do anything special. It wasn't extraordinarily pretty. In fact, it looks dated. It ran smoothly and it played fine, and it was a nice little fun diversion. And I said that in the first look, that this is going to feel right at home for a lot of MMO players. But will it become home? I don't think so. And it's a nice diversion is kind of the way I looked at it. If you're in between games or you're waiting for, you know, whatever, Astelia Online to come out later this month, and you want something to play for a couple of weeks, that might be it. Granted, there are quite a few sound effects that are ripped directly from other games and visual appearances and assets, and, you know, I don't know exactly how much of it is above board, but all in all, I don't have anything bad to say about the game besides it felt like one of those games where you get hundreds of little items that all are used to upgrade bajillion other things for no real reason other than to give you plenty of items to upgrade certain things, even your own skills and training, and I think potentially down the road be influenced by the cash shop. I don't know how much of an influence it is yet. We'll have to see when it actually releases out of closed beta or open beta or whatever the hell it's in. I don't know. other than that, you know, possibly some pay-to-win, arguable pay-to-win in the first look, and the potential for actual pay-to-win. Setting that aside, I don't have anything bad to say about the game. But I don't necessarily have anything great to say about it either. So I don't know if that's the impression you guys got. Jason, what'd you think?
So here's the stupid thing about this game that I think, and a lot of other games like it. It's like, yeah, watching you do the combat and fighting stuff, I was like, you know, this could be a nice little brainless game. Just go out,
Yeah.
slaughter stuff, get easy quests and so forth.
Exactly.
All right, sure, I could do that.
That's what it was.
But then you open up your menus, and like you say, you're going through your inventory, you're going through your skills, you're going through all the other stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to exert my brain on that.
Yeah.
If I'm playing a game where I just want to go out and kill stuff, I don't want to then go and spend 30 minutes after killing 10 minutes worth of stuff, go spend 30 minutes. And maybe this is just me, you know, how I am with inventory and whatnot. But having to sort through all this, figure out what's the most valuable thing. Where do I want to use this? Where do I want to combine that? What do I need to buy off the cash shop? You know, that stuff. Just don't do all that, and then have a simple game where you just go kill stuff, because it just ruins it for me.
I will say that I ran about 6 or 7 dungeons, and a couple of those were duplicates. I did like their dungeons, their PvE dungeons. I didn't do any PvP. It was all pretty generic. It was like 10v10, all of it. And you had to be like level 35 or something to open it up. So I pretty much had just opened it up when I did the first look. But I really liked their dungeons and the bosses. Some of them, I loved some of the monster models in the game.
So there was something really fun that you liked, but you had to be level 35 before you could do it?
No, that's PvP.
Okay.
The first dungeon, I think, was unlocked. Part of the tutorial, they train you on how to queue up and stuff. So it was like level 18, and that was like literally 30 minutes in. You were already level 15, 16, 17, 18. So they got you to it pretty quickly. And in fact, earlier than that, they start sending you to this solo instance training ground, which is basically these little mini challenges to learn how to dodge AoEs and use AoEs of your own and things like that. But yeah, I did like some of the monster models were really cool. The story I couldn't have cared less about, and the voice acting was horrible. There's not much of it, thank God, but it was just as awful as the trailer, which I know, Q, was your favorite part when we announced this game way back when, was like they got Jim from accounting to come upstairs and do the voiceover for their trailer. What'd you think, Q?
I mean, like I said, it looked like your basic kind of generic and, you know, fun, just go do mindlessly do stuff. And I guess my difference from Jason is I was one of those kids that, like, when I got toys, I would make lists and shit, like archive them and crap. I had like little green army men, and I archived how many of what I had. So I inventoried shit as a kid. So that and it's probably why I like Eve, actually, is the doing that kind of stuff. So that's fine. I do really enjoy.
Boy, you were just a barrel of laughs to hang out with, weren't you? Don't touch that. I haven't updated my inventory.
I went freaking ballistic on people if they came in and moved anything in my CD collection. Or I could tell if you had, like, I had stuff organized on top of, like, say, my dresser, if it was moved an inch. I fucking knew, and I just went apeshit. But the other thing I really enjoy is the name.
I just see like this little like 8-year-old girl, you know, just no, damn it. There's 14 of them and they go on the 4th shelf.
But there were lists. There had to be paper lists to go with it. I actually function better that way, believe it or not. So the other thing I enjoyed, though, was that your Q ability, the name of it is great, and I now want that to be an official title for me.
Oh, what was it?
Creeping Shadow.
Oh, yeah. Some of the abilities were cool, the animations and stuff. Like, it's still installed. I mean, I didn't uninstall it, Jason. It's one of those, I'll jump in every once in a while and putter around. There were conveniences in there that, you know, even though the game felt dated, it had some modern conveniences. Like, you could queue up for a dungeon alone, and then, you know, just have it search for a party while you were inside there, clearing out, like, the trash to the first boss if you wanted to. So, yeah, I don't know what the rating will be like or anything like that because they capped the level at 50, and I think 60 is going to be the cap, at least initially. But it was rather enjoyable, if not generic. And I guess that's not a bad thing at the end of the day. I want to play it. I don't know how often, but I do want to play it. Now, the other one, on the other hand, yeah, I know you don't. Yeah, and that's the thing that I think I'm concerned about, Jason. I think if you downloaded it, you'd be exactly what you were talking about. Oh, I got to download this for the first look. Let me go do it. You know what? I'm going to leave this installed. Maybe I'll putter around in it here and there. But since you didn't have to do the first look, so you didn't download it for that, you look at it, and I don't think there's really enough incentive for you to download it. And that's where I think the game's going to struggle a little bit. If you didn't look at the trailer and ignore the voice acting and go, I'm going to check that out, there's really nothing the game offers to a modern MMORPG player to say, come check this out. So if the trailer didn't interest you, take a look at the first look, and if that doesn't interest you, the game won't. It's that simple. Speaking of things that didn't interest me, although they did initially, Caravan Stories came out on the PlayStation 4 this past week. This is about a 2-year-old mobile game / PC game that previously, for the last 2 years or so, was only available in Japanese, and now is available for the PlayStation 4. To be specific, it is only available for the North American PlayStation 4 or PSN store. So if you want to play it and you're in the UK or whatever, you are going to need a US or Canadian PSN account so that you can go ahead and grab it. They have said on Twitter that they're looking at other regions, but I doubt it's going to be anytime soon. There are a lot of fans of this game, and it's like kind of like an anime-ish look. It's not like full, Japanese animation. It's got that like pastel colors. There's almost Ni no Kuni type colors and art schemes to it. But I was kind of excited, because in the trailer, I like the look of it, the art style of it. I love Ni no Kuni, and this worked for me too. And I was pretty excited. Oh, cool, finally an English version, because you could only play this in Japanese, and I didn't care enough about it to try it in Japanese. Here's the thing. The trailer bills it as an MMORPG. An MMORPG it is not. At least not to me. Not the way I think of MMORPG, Eternal Magic. That is an MMORPG in my head. This is a port of what was a mobile game and a PC game that was just a PC version of the mobile game. I don't like games, even though I'm a Final Fantasy nutcase, right? I don't like games like Opera Omnia, where it's all about collecting all these different party members, all these different weapons, upgrading them from 1 star all the way to 5 stars. Then when they hit max level, you use these items to enhance them, and you go back to level 1, and you do it all over, and you have 200 different party members and animals and things that you've... I hate games like that. Oh, and by the way, here's your daily loot box. Go do a pull here. Try to get the new 5-star item that we just... I hate it, even with a Final Fantasy skin, and that's exactly what this game is. I played it for about 3 hours. Not only is it that, it's slow as balls, man. I mean, it is really, really slow for like the first hour or so, and it doesn't really pick up much, but it does pick up a little bit, I guess. There is some bare-bones social structure and raiding that you can do with other people. It's nothing that these mobile games can't do. I hated this one. It just grated on me. And Jason, you want to talk about inventory? This is one that every fight, you were, and it's like random battle, not random battle. It's the characters are jumping around on a map, and you go and touch them, and into a encounter battle type deal. Mm-hmm. Every single fight, you were getting at least 3 items from, and they were all sorts of, this upgrades this, these can be used to upgrade this can be used to upgrade this can be used to upgrade this, these are gems for the cash store, this does this is this, this is this, this is this. It was a mess. Decided not to do a first look on it. The reason why, it'd be boring as hell to watch. I mean, it really would. Even if you're into these types of games, just from how I've described the game, you know whether this is a game for you or not. You know exactly what type of game it is, and you know. A first look on it would have been incredibly boring. So I skipped it, Those are my opinions. Obviously not favorable. I know that a lot of that may be a bias that I just don't like these types of mobile games to begin with, and so I want you to help me out with that in the question of the week when we get there. Jason, I don't... Did you actually download and stream it? I know you were going to screw around with it.
I didn't, but now that you talk about how it works, it does kind of remind me of the Kingdom Hearts mobile game that I play, with having to get different things and upgrade them, and then stars and levels and so forth.
Yeah, like here's Sora's Keyblade, and here's
Not exactly
Keyblade this, and Keyblade this, and
sort of, yeah.
level it up and upgrade it. Now it's 4 stars. Now it's 5 stars. Yay!
Listen to you knowing the Kingdom Hearts stuff. Didn't know you were a fan.
Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts, man. What are you talking about?
I didn't know the person that really, really likes Final Fantasy is
All
a
this
Kingdom
Final
Hearts fan.
Fantasy shit on the wall.
Talk about
There's
you had the
Chrono
Final
Trigger
Fantasy
up
shit.
there, and
Look, I
Final
wasn't into
Fantasy
Kingdom Hearts
here,
again until like
Final
a year
Fantasy
ago when
14.
someone got me back into it.
Some Moogles back there. We got an FF7 canvas here. Yeah, I love Kingdom Hearts. Love them.
Sure you do.
I do. I was on 3. On 3.
Okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, what disappointed me about 3 was very little Final Fantasy shit going on in there on that one. Anyway, Q, what were your thoughts on Caravan? I know you didn't play it, but you've taken a look at it. You are, out of the 3 of us, much more mobile game inclined than Jason or I are. What do you think?
It actually, I mean, I haven't downloaded it to play or anything, but from the description and everything, it feels like oh god, I can't even. It starts with a D, but there was another game that I played.
That should narrow it down. I should probably be
Yeah,
able to Google that.
I don't.
Mobile
but anyway,
games
the same
that start
basically.
with D.
Bite me, Mike.
No, it starts with a B.
That's a B, Q. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway. There was one I had to play that was very similar. I had to play to do like guides and stuff for Game Skinny, and I like that just fine. So I'd probably enjoy it for a while and then kind of fall off like I do with most mobile games.
Well, enjoy. You can't play it mobily, so you got to go get it on the PlayStation 4 or play it in Japanese on your mobile if you want to. So have fun. Yeah, Jason, don't bother. Go do the first look for the MOBA instead. I'm sure that's going to be just as excruciating, although maybe there's a chance with that one that we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Do the Colonel Sanders first look. There we go.
There'll be something with that.
No, we need the
Definitely
mobile.
something.
Oh, God. We need the mobile one first. MOBA one. Let's do the weekly bombs. I'm going to give mine first. An A-bomb to Caravan Stories. Please stop calling the damn thing an MMORPG. It's not. Jason?
I'm going to give an A-bomb to voice chat on Skype and Discord because of the stream Mike and I tried to do a couple weeks ago when we were playing the cycle together, and we spent an hour just trying to get the sound to work.
Yep.
If I was in Skype, we could talk, but it would remove sound from my game. Then if I went to Discord, I couldn't get Mike to hear me. No matter what I tried resetting all my sound stuff. I didn't remember what did we do. We wound up eventually getting to work somehow, didn't we?
So, nobody comment on Skype that he needs to change his communication setting to do nothing. We already did that. In Discord, we just got on there yesterday because you wanted to test it because you had a Guild Wars 2 interview or preview thing to do, and you wanted to test it. We got on there. I couldn't hear you, but then I could start hearing.
Once I changed to my push to talk, it worked. But we tried push to talk and we tried voice activated the other time.
Yeah, nope.
Discord is very fickle.
Yeah, he put it on push to talk, and I could hear him hitting the button. And when we realized that, he would hold it and talk, and I could hear him. Then he switched it back to voice activation, and I could hear him. Like, it was like it just needed to be, like, punched a little bit. Like, oof.
I don't know.
Discord is very fickle. It always has been.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Q.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to this spider that's been menacing me for like 5 freaking days in the bathroom. I'll go into the bathroom and not totally expecting it, and he's right next to my freaking leg on the wall. Or the other day, he was on the hand soap staring at me. Like, I wanted to use the hand soap, but that surely wasn't happening by that point.
Like,
it was a very clean spider.
Yeah, she was like, well, guess I just won't touch my eyes. I don't want pink eye.
I'll just go into the kitchen and wash my hands in there.
All right, from the viewers, McLovin. There's a name we haven't heard in a while, Jason. McLovin780 says, love the game reviews. What is the free-to-play game that you guys play? Right now, I'm dabbling in a little Eternal Magic here and there because of the first look. I did re-download, Jason's going to laugh, Lord of the Rings Online again. So I've been dabbling in that one. And then, of course, Warframe and Path of Exile, which I kind of sit back on the console and play. Jason, what are you messing in free to play wise?
I mean, I think the actual last free to play game I played was a little bit of Secret World a couple days ago. But I was still pretty heavily into Conqueror's Blade for a few months there. I need to get back into that now that the update is out.
Q, what are you dabbling in now that your computer's back?
Well, my computer is back, but I'm still on a 50 gig a month hotspot.
So not much at the moment.
Not much at the moment. I just had, before I got my computer back, I had my friend who sent it to me just download all my Steam games and install them. So I have games to play, but none of them are really, free to play.
McLovin780 goes on to say, I've been following this website before there were even weekly reviews. MMO bombs come a long way. Please respond when you can. We're doing it right now. Love to get involved sometime. Let me know. And the riot crap is just insane. We agree with you. And McLovin, if you want to get involved, hit me up magicman at mmobomb.com. Let me know what you'd like to do. We're always looking for people to join the team. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Direct Sky Shadow. This is the bomb to Guild Wars 2, the next living world story, the Icebrood Saga. Like I said before, I love this game, and I love the char race, one of the best races in gaming. If you disagree then, well, you're wrong, but nevertheless. The story is based around the char and Norns. New story in a new place. I just can't wait. Hey, Drex, you're absolutely right. Char are the best race.
Hashtag go char. Go ahead, Q.
Stoner something. I was hoping you'd do it in this order just so I would get the person with that name. Yep, A-bomb to 2K games because they still exist, and that NBA trailer.
Yeah, that NBA trailer was just awful. My apologies to EA. I mean, not really, but this mess wasn't you, and I incorrectly attributed it to you 2 weeks ago. You have enough messes of your own.
I was going to say they've done enough.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I looked at it. It has the NBA 2K has a 15% rating, positive rating on Steam.
Slash Coon says, Dub-bomb for Gamigo for doing everything right with ArcAge Unchained, and from what they said, removed everything Tryon could not do, from the outlook of someone who loves the game but can't support it for being pay-to-win AF. Unchained looks to be fair and better version of ArcAge in every single aspect. P.S. Missed last episode, so could not answer the question of the week there. Edit. ArcAge Unchained also fixes what the majority of the player base that quit the game for, and if we get the Korean labor system as well, would kill the need for 60 alts to keep up in normal ArcAge. Edit number 2 also would be fine to pay anything below €30. Well, you're done there, Slash Coon. In between last week's show and this week's show, we did get pricing on the ArcAge Unchained packs, and you will definitely be able to pick one up for less than €30. We missed the $20 price point that I wanted. What was it? It was like an odd one. It was like 23 or 25.
It was $25.99, yeah. Which I've got at €23.5, basically.
Yeah, so you're fine for under €30. Missed my $20 USD price tag. I don't know if they're going to get the extra 7 out of me. Question of the week last week. What is the best free-to-play game on the market right now and why? Hydrex Sky Shadow chiming in on this one too, saying, question of the week. Sorry, I didn't realize it, but this was long. Best free-to-play game. That's too hard since there's so many games. But a couple of the games that I played for more hours than I'd like to admit. Now, I will stop there. I'm going to give the list of games that Hydrex Sky Shadow has been spending more time in than they would like to admit. If you want the reasons why, go to last week's episode of the Free-to-Play Cast on the MMO Bomb site. There's a little mini review of each of these games. The post is this long, so I'm just going to give you the names. Dota 2, CSGO, Warframe, Guild Wars 2, Dauntless, and Terra. One or two games I did not expect to see on the list there, particularly Terra. And when we get down here through a few of these, there's some other games that I did not expect to see on this list. Go ahead, Jason.
Excel Kobayashi's question of the week, Path of Exile or Guild Wars 2 if you eventually stick around long enough to buy and play the expansions, which you only have to buy one of now, which is a nice little deal that they've got going on.
Yep. We talked
And
about
I
that.
say too, you talked about Lord of the Rings Online. I'd be more surprised if you ever got back into Guild Wars 2 and got your character out of that starter zone.
Oh, that's right. Dude, I still have the second 80 boost.
Sure you do.
I got the first one from the first expansion when I bought that. It's in the training area. And I got the second one with the second expansion that I haven't even used yet. That's right. I got bunches of characters I'm not going to play. Oh, and speaking of things on sale, Lord of the Rings Online has finally put the Mines of Moria expansion. That's the one, right, Jason?
So yeah, the first one. Yeah.
On sale. It's been $40 still. Could you even fathom that expansion, but 6 or 7 years old now, it was still $40?
They've discounted it at times.
They've discounted it to $20. So if you want to play Lord of the Rings Online 7-year-old expansion, which isn't even the most recent one,
11.
it's 11.
Moria is 11 years old. Yeah.
Yeah,
2008.
yeah. It's
That
been a
can't
while.
be the one.
expansion.
That can't be the one that's on sale. It's got to be Rohan then.
Okay, Rohan as well. That's like 9 years old, maybe.
I linked this to you. Which one was it?
I don't know. You link me a lot of shit.
I mean,
Expansion
honestly,
sale.
expecting us to remember anything past what happened maybe yesterday.
I don't know. Which one was it? Oh, you didn't write it up. That's why. I sent it to you, and I think I don't know if I wanted you to write it up or not. I just sent a comment like, "This wasn't on sale already." Where did I see it? I'm gonna find it now because I thought this was ridiculous.
Go to the game site.
Yeah,
No, their site is terrible.
it's awful.
Go to Steam.
No, they don't even have the expansions listed there.
Helm's Deep.
Helm's Deep. Oh, okay, yeah, that one's a little more recent. That's like 6 years.
Yeah, that's where I was getting it was 2013. That's why I was getting the 6 or 7. But Helm's Deep, even 6 or 7 years old, was $40. It's discounted till $20, but only until the 16th of this month. Because, Daybreak's still raking in $40 a pop on that one. Get the fuck out of here. Go ahead, Q.
Okay, before I start this, when you did this thing with your hands earlier, your shirt completely changed color.
What?
Like lower. See it? See it?
I can't see his
Oh,
camera.
yeah,
right
the
now.
white balance is because the camera's
yeah.
picking up the...
Oh,
yeah.
wow, yeah.
This is the color of my shirt. That's the actual color of my shirt. Boop. That is not the color of my shirt. Boop. Way to go, Logitech.
So if anybody was wondering why I was making the face
What
I was making
happens?
earlier,
What
that
happens
was
if we
why.
turn down the heat on that a little bit? Is that what it is? Is it overexposed? to the
You're
Logitech?
still kind of. It's still not. Oh wait. There.
Oh,
Oh.
nope.
You moved and it.
Way to go, Logitech.
Oh, now as you're leading in and out, it's doing it.
Mike and the amazing Technicolor dress shirt.
Well, I am a magician. This is how fast I can change clothes, Jason. Watch. Yeah. All right, enough distraction. What the hell's wrong with you, Logitech? If somebody can tell me what the hell that is, please do in the comments, because I will fix it. If you tell me what the hell it is. I thought it might be overexposed with the light, but it's pretty dim. Go ahead, Q. You read the next one.
Okay, Mingto, for the question of the week, I say Guild Wars 2. Yes, Guild Wars 2 is buy to play in terms of the expansions, but the core game is free to play. As for why, it is because I can trust ArenaNet not to jab me in the wallet with microtransactions and the like.
Well,
Those mount licenses notwithstanding. but-
yeah, I was going to say, well...
Just sort of wow from way back here somewhere.
Mike's still testing.
No, I was gonna put in a softer filter on the light to see if that fixed it, and it might, but I couldn't get the filter out while Q was reading. Jason, you take the next one. Go slow.
Okay. Slash Coon says, question of the week. When it comes to free-to-play games at the moment, only game that holds any interest for me is Revelation Online for its combat, and that you can ignore the cash shop completely. And why it's worth playing depends on company if it's worth, but Warframe and Path of Exile are great examples of free-to-play games doing it right. But generally, it's the fact that poor people like myself can enjoy the games on a mostly fair basis, expected boosters and some time savers in the cash shop, as long as it does not save too much time making it mandatory.
God damn it.
So Revelation Online is kind of a surprise. This is a game we don't hear about a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very surprised to see that one on the list. I swear to God, I can't get the other filter out, and I don't know why. Ryan Forecast says, yes, Jason. Forecast is indeed my last name. We talked to Ryan's comment last week.
Meteorologist?
And you couldn't even begin to fathom how many times people have told me to become a weatherman. I even ran a study body, I think that maybe a student body president campaign with the slogan, whatever the weather, vote forecast.
It's always sunny with forecast.
To which I won in a landslide vote, so it definitely has its perks. As for the question of the week, Wizard 101 has a special place in my heart due to the sheer fact that it was the first MMO I ever played. I adored the turn-based combat and was saddened when every game after that had action combat. Also, I know mobile games get an awful lot of bad press, but I must admit, I love the fact that they make the gaming industry so much accessible to people in the developing world. Good point. Games such as AOV and PUB Mobile allow people in Indonesia, India, Vietnam, China, etc. to experience and enjoy similar... Don't know if some of those countries are countries I would have put in the third world, but to experience and enjoy similar games that we have full access to in the West while not forcing them to have exponential income. I think it'll be interesting to see where the new tech takes this and whether the rollout of 5G and video game streaming will allow more developing countries to enjoy video games. Love the show, guys. Have a top week. Ryan, you two, great points. Q, finish it up.
Raggedy, without a doubt, Warframe. Digital Extremes does a great job every time they have something to add to the game, even when it's something like a battle pass. It's free, no premium, no track, no booster for extra points. Wow, without commas, I just run out of air. Just log in and do things, and you get cool things. Other than Warframe, League is a close second, and just because I'm playing it more, Hearthstone. I can't stand PvP in Hearthstone. You have one mana, what the are you going to play to end your turn? But dungeon runs are fun, and you don't have net decks to win just decent RNG. Also, if Q can read this without DCing, bonus point. Did I DC last week?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes.
No, it was the time before, wasn't it? I didn't DC last time, did I?
Oh, we didn't do a cast last week, so I don't remember.
I think we have. Well, I don't remember because we weren't there.
Yeah.
Trying to put this into my light to soften it a little bit, but the clear filter will not.
Just hold it up.
Will not come out. Yeah, watch. So it's definitely overexposed. The Logitech is picking it up as overexposed, but I can't do anything about it.
Wait, are there stripes on your shirt too?
Yes. Well, it's like a crosshatch. It's like a light blue and white crosshatch. Let me get
If you really want to be overexposed.
Oh, okay. So it's gingham.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Question of the week this week, because of how disappointing Caravan Stories was to me, is there a mobile game out there that is just amazing? And I mean in the realm of MMORPGs. If so, let me know what it is. No cheating and putting old school RuneScape or Adventure Quest. Got to pick something different. Until next week, Jason, where can everybody find you?
On Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
Cute.
Hanging out on Twitter at Quintlin, but it's a very dangerous place right now.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me on Twitter right there at magicman1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so that you can get all the latest gifts, giveaways, interviews, first look videos, free-to-play casts, and more. Make sure you answer the question of the week in the comments below. And while you're there, put your weekly bomb, dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad. And until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.